right, so my name is Timberly Baker. I'm in teacher education like Tori, we're colleagues, and I'm developing EDUC 631, which is analysis of instruction. It is a master's level course, and it is a part of our research sequence for students, and the focus of it is really helping students to apply their knowledge of action research for a proposal that they need to then submit to the institutional review board so that they could do their actual research. So I start with the welcome and then beginning the course. The three sort of things that I want to focus on for my presentation here is a document that I developed that I'm calling the Learning Activities Description and Rubrics, and then a student article discussion format that I've set up, and then these two peer evaluation projects, I guess, that I'll talk about. So I have much of the regular structure that the start here, beginning the course, a video tour of the course where I take them through that information, course calendar, and then the learning activities and description information is where I want to go to and start with for this conversation. So I have gone wild with the embedding Google Docs into Blackboard, because that is like, that gave me life right there when Larissa showed me how to do that, because it is so much simpler, at least for me, to then go in and change it from my Google account than to be trying to go in and change it on Blackboard. That's just a simpler process for me. I think it's also really good for me too, because I teach other classes as well, that it's helpful with that when you have multiple sections, because then you can just change one document for all your sections. So I developed this document generally because oftentimes students want to know, and these are master level students, so this gives them an idea of everything that they're going to have to do as far as assessment in one place for the entire semester. So while they'll have multiple discussion boards, this is just their general, here's what you're expected to do for discussion boards, and then here's the rubric that will be used for that. Their IRB submission, and this sort of goes in order for the most part, and because their IRB submission is the major core of the course, but it's broken down into different parts. So you'll note that I have like part 1, part 2, and then final submission of their proposal as parts of that. And I'll show you where this sort of shows up in the modules and on the course calendar in a few moments. But so then breaking down that submission, and what they need to do for it, and then how it will be graded. And I think that for master's level students, this is really important, because they may be juggling multiple things all at the same time in regards to figuring out what do I need to work on when. And so then they can have a big picture of all of it. As a part of the IRB submission, some of our students may work in school districts that require, or school corporations that require that they have a separate consent form or some other separate research approval documents for them to engage in their research. So that's a part of it too, but that's optional depending on the requirement of their district. So not all students will have that. Then there's student research article discussion. So I want to explain this because this is one of the embedded in my conversation. This is one of the aspects that I want feedback on from you all and thoughts. So I'm going to go over here and then I'll show you the format in VoiceThread that I'm trying to use. So what I'm hopeful that we'll be able to do is each student will submit an article, a research article that's relevant to the topic that they're actually going to do their research on. So they'll submit that and turn it in, and then it'll be posted. And then there's subsequent discussion boards where everybody will read that person's article and then address these particular questions, right? So in step 1, students will submit a research article relevant to your topic, and they'll post that. Then each student is to read the research article listed for that week that's been posted by their classmate and complete the following questions. What's the purpose of the article? What does the author articulate? How does the author articulate the ideas, and how and why are they examining this particular topic? What is this article's methods? What methodology do they use? What did you learn from this article that's applicable to your own research or research methods? So really trying to help them continue to build their understanding of, oh, even as I learn about this other topic, some things that I can take from it that may help me improve either my actual practice within my classroom or my research skills. And then they'll complete a video response to 2 of their classmates about their thoughts on their post, connections to their own research, and their articulation of methods from the article. So, answering, really sort of posting back those last few questions about what they got from it. And I'll show you the format for that. So I'm going to jump over and I'll come back to this document, or I'll finish the document. So then there's 2 peer evaluations. There's 2 peer evaluations that I want to do during the semester as well. So Tori actually teaches the prerequisite course to this course. And in that course, they do a literature review. So one of the things that I have them do sort of early on is I want them to really be clean in their APA use, especially before they submit before they start drafting their IRB proposal. And so what I'm going to have them do is the literature review that they already did in 601, that they'll take that again, that same lit review, and then reading chapter 6, which is in the APA manual, they'll review 2 of their classmates' literature review. But they're only really reviewing it around citations, quotations, citation format, their reference page, really to hone in on their ability and use of APA for those documents. Right, so an opportunity to help their classmates improve if they've got some issues with it. A time for them to hone their own skills on being able to use it, and application of it, especially because this assignment is one of their first sort of papers that they have to do at the beginning of the course, really as a refresher and as a cementing of, okay, do you know your APA really well? Because that's going to be really important going into your IRB proposal. And so to help each other with that. And then it lists the rubric that'll be used in order to assist with that. And they'll do that format as a discussion post too. So not only is it interaction, peer-to-peer interaction in regards to the peer review itself, but then also because it's going to be done as a discussion board post, they'll post to discuss as well. Then they have a final presentation peer review that they'll do. So one of the things that's required of this course for the masters is that they have to do a final presentation that essentially goes over their core aspects of their research proposal for IRB and the content of their research. So what I have is sort of a layout of their slides that they would actually do for their presentation, and then questions that they're essentially examining within each one of, potentially examining within those slides. And so a student will post this. So they'll post that particular thing. And then this is the rubric that will be used in order to address it. So the part 1 is doing the actual presentation. And then the part 2 is them responding to each other's presentations. So then they'll give each other some, make some connections back. So, so what I ask the students who are responding is, has the presentation answered all the questions that are posed? And then how did the presentation improve your understanding of, use of, and application of action research, right? So how is what your peer has posted about their own work help you with your understanding, your use of, and your application of? Because this is course 2 in a 3-course sequence. And so they'll still be taking the same information and moving it forward into another course as well. So that's my learning activities document that I was super excited about developing, because I thought it was just a really strong way to help students sort of organize big picture, all their information, rubrics and everything in there for the semester. So let me go to the actual learning activities, right? So I've described what those learning activities are, and then I'm going to the learning activities themselves. So I've used the module format for that. For the majority of it, and I front-loaded the course with modules, but then in the back end of the course, the majority of the work that they're doing is on their actual IRB proposal, so they're not really learning any content. They're applying what they've already learned through the modules to actually putting together their IRB proposal. If that makes sense. So, so they have their IRB proposal, and then this is where we get into the student article discussions that I wanted feedback on. So what I've done was developed a voice thread for each for 4 weeks. And as of right now, there's 8 students that are enrolled in the class, so that's why I have 4 weeks, like 2 articles per week. And so what I'm asking them to do is, read the research article that's listed for the week, and then answer those questions, and then using this, tool, complete the video response, or do a video response to their classmates' article and information. So that's my goal for that particular piece. And then the 2, and then the peer evaluation for the final presentation, having them do that piece as well. So I guess most of my focus is on the learner-to-learner interaction in regards to what I wanted to present and talk about for this final showcase. And I'm done.
I don't know if we're ready for comments, but I got a couple I jotted down if I can speak for just a second. First, Kim, I think this is set up beautifully, coming from teaching the previous course to know what they're going to. And I know you and I've worked together and trying to make sure that we're not double covering things, and that this transition is very smoothly. I really, really like how this is set up. I also really like how you put in there at the very beginning for them to go ahead and get that district consent form before they ever even get to the third, because the third class will actually be doing this research. So RB is probably going to ask them for that consent form. So right. At least you already have that in place, and that won't be another holdup for them to get approval. Also, that article discussion where you have them go through and break down the article and answer those questions, and how you have it that core discussion class, I think is a brilliant idea. And really taking that critical view of looking at and trying to identify that methodology piece. And what methodology will I be using in mine? Because we discuss it briefly in my class, but knowing that moving forward they're actually going to have to identify that methodology and be able to use it, because in the third class they actually have to do that. And I love that document and how it's all set up. I think that was a great example. And I really like how you're doing a lot of that peer. I'm a firm believer in that peer interaction, and I think you did a great job.
Yeah. I did want to show one other thing I forgot to say about the course. Well, it's easiest to show it with the course calendar. But one of the other things that I have is also student to instructor interaction too. So I have 3 or 2 sets of student meetings where I'll meet one-on-one with students. And generally that happens after they've submitted a portion of a draft for their IRB proposal. So like I have them set up their IRB account, their IRB.net account or whatever, and then I'll go over questions and things like that with them for that. And then the documents they need to download for that as well. And then their next set of student meetings happen after they've submitted the draft of their part 1 of their IRB, and then the draft of their informed consent. And then I have student meetings to address that. And then after they've submitted part 2, like that, so they're getting consistent feedback from me too about what the content of their IRB proposal. Because my goal is that they will submit the full proposal and get back their feedback before the end of the semester. So I'm trying to really work consistently one-to-one with them. So like one of their final things is to submit their IRB approval letter. And I put it as approval letter, right? Because my hope is that it'll be approved. But technically, all they have to do is submit whatever letter IRB has sent them back by that time, which they should have gotten something from IRB. Is that me? Somebody's got feedback. Is everybody on mute there?
was waiting on you to finish talking.
Oh, that they'll submit something, some type of letter or something that says that they've gotten something back from IRB. So, yeah.
So I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the document that had like step 1, step 2, step 3, right, for the discussions, which first of all, that is great. And I love the fact that they're all going to be looking at each other's work and evaluating, and you're hitting like those higher level skills that they need to really work on. So my question was, the third step was video, right? The second step was video or written. So how are they going to submit the video? I think I missed that.
Oh, so they're, wait, for the peer evaluation or for the discussion?
Discussion, I think.
So because it's on VoiceThread, they'll just do the plus with the comments. So I have let me go there. So what I put here was, if you need assistance or have never used VoiceThread to submit an assignment, use the video below for assistance. So this shows them how to leave a comment, written, verbal, you know, or video.
Okay. So you're requiring it to be video, right?
Right. I am requiring that their response is a video. Yeah.
Okay. Because, you know, like you have on VoiceThread, like the options of closing the rest of the options. Did you know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like when you go to the settings,
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you. Okay. So click on, on the VoiceThread and then go to edit. Yeah, right there, edit. And then, let's see, let me make your screen a little bit bigger. Yeah, so it says options on the right, on the top right, kind of on the corner. Options.
Yeah, I had to move my, okay,
And
options.
Playback settings. Then allow common methods. So you can select the ones they see.
Ah, good looking now. I think I'll leave text just in case, but I do want it to be webcam.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, and Timberly, I have a question too.
Mhm.
So I really love how you have everything set up. So on the learning activities page here where you're at, and you scroll down in those discussions, they're going to occur after the module 5, is that right?
Right, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So the way I have it set up on the course calendar is, like I said, it's sort of front loaded, you know, on the content where they're learning content.
Right.
And they're doing readings and things like that. And then the back half of the course is really more about reflection and application. And that's why I also want them to use each other's content, right? Their own articles in order to reflect on their research, their methodologies and things like that.
That is awesome.
Yep, I agree. Thanks, Timberly.
Mhm.
Any other questions or comments for Timberly?
One suggestion. I'm glad that you were able to get the VoiceThread up and running. So when you have them do on a webcam, you can also put out there that on their webcam, they can actually use the webcam to use the VoiceThread as like a presentation. You know, so some people may actually answer all the questions verbally on the webcam, but some people may feel better actually doing a presentation with slides on the webcam.
Oh, okay. So for them to be able to upload their own responses and talk over it, is what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah, some people may like that. And as you know,